start with you and ask a little bit about the origins of this movie, because you were on it before anybody else on this stage. How did you get your hands on the script, and what state was your career at the time? Because this was really your first big thing, right?
Yeah, I had just got it out of USC Film School, and I had just gotten out of USC Film School and was trying to be a producer. And so at that point, you had to read everything. And there was a guy I know who was a part of a group who had this pile of scripts. And probably at one point you could have optioned them for $1. He would have been very happy. And we kind of zeroed in on this project and optioned it from him. And about 6 months later, he became Quentin Tarantino. And that was how we got started.
And so, how did you get it to Oliver Stone? How did that come about?
Well, there was a whole odyssey on the project. Once Reservoir Dogs played at Sundance, it became kind of, the movie didn't do very well in theaters, but it became kind of an inside baseball type thing. There must have been at least 15 screenings I was invited to in private places. I'm like, I know the guy. And so then people were like, what did he write? What did he write? What did he write? What else has he done? And the short version is that after a lot of kind of interest and pounding the pavement and trying to get someone to pay attention, we got a phone call one day from the former head of Universal, who was now trying to be a producer, well, wasn't being a producer, who said, I found you a director, Oliver Stone. And of course, my immediate response was that he was full of shit, because I had been in 2 different classes at USC when he premiered Platoon and when he premiered Salvador. And there's no way that guy was going to do the movie, and here we are.
Well, so Oliver, you were working on Heaven and Earth, which was this very contemplative, poetic movie, which is sort of the opposite of Natural Born Killers. What was it in this script that you responded to that made you want to
just to get one thing straight, this is bullshit. Sorry, I mean, first of all, this screenplay had been around, and frankly, I never heard of it. One day I'm in my office of one of my associates, Janet Yang. She's very snobbish. There's a pile of scripts there on her desk, things she's rejected. I just happened to notice the spines, and I said that's a good title, A Natural Born Killer. Honestly, pulled the script, read it. Then we met with you after that, and Jane, your partner Jane, who was a character. You two were nuts. But the script we did a lot of work on the script, which you never mentioned. It was a story by this guy, and we took it and we turned it inside out, and we turned it into something else. And by that I mean 3 of us: David Villaz, Richard Ratowski, and myself. We worked very hard on it. So, people always confuse that, and it annoys the shit out of me. Okay, so I just want to get that straight, right? So that's how I got into it. And by the way, it was a very complicated deal. These 2 made it very difficult because there was a whole legal trail of shit with Mr. QT and blah, blah, blah. Not to get into all the bad mouthing that went on. I'm glad the film got made in spite of all the odds, because nobody at Warner Brothers wanted to make this film. Nobody. Woody was the last choice on their list, thank God. And I got that by, because you were number 6 or something, the other 5, of course, passed.
I was just happy to be in the
And
top 10.
you've done something called
White Men Can't Jump.
which one?
White Men Can't Jump.
No, but you've been the guy with Robert Redford and Demi Moore in that movie.
Indecent proposal.
Indecent Proposal. That's it. It was, and you were very good, and I'm very lucky. And then Juliette come in one day, and she's nuts, and she says she jumped up on the table. I don't know.
No, I didn't
Okay,
say
okay,
that. I
get the
heard
story.
this story that I threatened to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm more subtle than
But
that.
I was fighting with Juliette the whole time because I wanted her to get in shape, and I wanted her to work out. She's pretty lazy sometimes, and so we had to. we went to it a few times.
But
I loved working with her at the end of the day. She was nuts.
Oliver,
The good news is this should go
Robert
viral.
Downey, you name it.
This should go viral. That's the good news.
Yeah. So, Woody and Juliette, I want to give you a chance to give your take on how you became involved in this, what your first sort of impressions were of Oliver Stone.
Oh, come on. What about Woody? First of all, her impressions of Woody are much more interesting.
when you come into his orbit, you have to be willing to work hard. And so for a month, he made me believe I would not be Mallory until I could do 7 chin-ups. I don't know if you remember this, but you put a bar in your office. I had to do the hard way, the chin-ups. Not there's an easy way, the hard way. I made it to 7. He wanted 10, but I got the job after 7 chin-ups, so that was good.
And Woody, what were your initial discussions like with Oliver when you first came on board?
Well, I remember reading the script and thinking, whoa, this is a crazy little script. And then, but you know, this is before Oliver and those guys worked on it. But, you know, I really wanted to work with Oliver. I had wanted to work with him for a long time. I had met him years ago, which he probably forgets, for, what was your first Vietnam?
Platoon.
Yeah, Platoon. And then I met you, and I came back a few times. This is a weird time to tell you. But, and then later, I was doing Cheers, and the money had fallen out, and then the money came back. And then I came to meet you, and I was doing Cheers, and you know, we talked, and you said, "Oh, so you're doing Cheers, yeah? And so you're working this month and all through this time?" And I go, "Yeah." And so you're not available. So what are you doing here? I said, "Well, it's good to see you." But anyway, I always wanted to work with him. I think he's one of the great filmmakers, and so. Probably been given a harder time by the establishment and by the, you know, just the socio-political world than any other director.
It's such a radical movie, you know, technically and ideologically and everything else. And Oliver, I'm curious, like, what was the thing that was driving you on this? I mean, was it just wanting to kind of express the insanity of what was going on in the mass media at the time? Was it the love story? What was the thing that was really driving you?
Yeah, it was the media was bugging me. I thought America was going down the tubes with the culture. Everything was changing. It was becoming more and more sensational. Television has ruined this country. Billions of dollars were going into this O.J. Simpson advertising for the trial. Every station, if you remember correctly, if you were around then, every station. Stay tuned for the latest on the O.J. Simpson. And that's advertising. And they were doing it and doing it and doing it. Billions of dollars were made by TV. And they realized that they get more money out of that than they would by telling sober news or trying to do some analysis or doing anything that's sensible. Television should be also, as well as entertaining, should be a tool for disseminating some kind of intelligence in the world. And I just think it lost its way. It had lost its way before, but this was worse than ever. So I kind of rebelled against this mentality. And I thought the whole system was getting worse. The cops, the press, the media, and obviously, as you can see in the movie, the prison system. The prison system is represented by Tommy Lee Jones, and the cops by Tom Sizemore. Lovely guys, both of them in this movie. I thought that Mickey and Mallory were kind of like insane compared to these people. That's sort of the part of what I was doing.
Well, since you brought up the prison, I was wondering if all of you could talk about what the experience was like actually shooting in Stateville Prison in Joliet, which is sort of one of the most notoriously rough prisons in the country.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in Joliet because there was we used the real prison. we used the real prisoners as extras. I thought it was very realistic, and then they cut us down after about a week or two, and they threw us out because the press got in there and they were saying, you know, this is happening and people were getting outraged in America. So we had to close down, and then we got back in, thank God.
Or we couldn't use bullets. We couldn't use.
Yeah, a week later we got back in because we got some baksheesh in the deal with the governor. And it was a whole complicated process, and they said you can do it with the real prisoners, but they got to use rubber batons, right?
Yeah, we had to pick up every spent.
It was more of a police deal, but we still got good stuff. I mean, and I'll tell you something. The warden was very enlightened. He said, "Let them have fun." God, when do you hear that anymore? You know, the prisoners got their jollies off. They loved it. They got to beat up the cops. They got all this violence, and you know, it was like fun for them smoking out the prison. And believe me, Joliet was cool after that. It got closed down since, but it's a very interesting old prison. You'll see it in the movie.
Well, if you recall, you were attracted to the roundhouse. Was it called?
Among other things, yeah, around.
And so that's in, like, I don't know.
Unit F.
Unit F, okay, I was going to say B. And you find out that every prisoner in Unit F has at least 2 life sentences. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, real fun.
So Juliette, what was your experience?
So, it was a fascinating, oh man, there's so many incredible stories on this movie because we were kind of this traveling caravan from state to state. And then when we got into prison, I'm a very sensitive person to energy. So the feeling of caged rage, which is what it's like in those places. We were in there for like 14 hours a day, and you know, go through all the walls and stuff. But it is a testament, I don't know if that's the right word, to Oliver's madness and adventure that he used real prisoners to stage a riot, which coincidentally is kind of therapeutic because it's make-believe and people can harness and control this adventure. And I don't know, it was kind of spectacular. But for me, I had walking pneumonia. I don't know if you remember that, but this is my big war story because I sort of finished the film just crawling through the finish line. But I had walking pneumonia. You and I had a conversation, and I was like, I will not end up in the hospital. It was like this mission just to finish our job together, but we're, you know, through smoke and barefoot. But the other more salacious things I could tell you anecdotally somewhere else. I mean, of the prison, you know, what it's like for little old me.
Yeah, maybe later on those stories.
All right.
Very fun.
My daughter's here.
Well,
No, I actually, I don't know, they kept yelling at me, skinhead, and calling me things when I'd go in, and I'd get so mad and be yelling up at these prisoners. I don't know what the hell was going on. But, you know, why would I bother them? But I remember when you did the auditions with the prisoners, and so you'd have them do like a scene, and they would start improvising, and then they would always end up in some kind of violent, you know, altercation between them. And it was fascinating to watch. I mean, really, that was amazing. And he ended up casting, you know, quite a number. And some of these guys had done some harrowing things. You know, remember that one guy, just a sweet old man. You know,
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah,
and
he killed his wife.
He killed his wife and family.
Yeah, no, and that guy.
He's a banker. He woke up one day.
Yeah, Sojak, and that guy is one of the first guys you see in the commissary scene.
Yeah, you see him, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, so Woody was worried that he was going to get recidivist tendencies and go back to prison.
Well, you have those tendencies.
Well, you know, Woody, you seem like such a good-natured, cheerful guy, and this is such a dark part. And I'm curious, you know, what did that do to you playing this kind of guy? I mean, you're the kind of actor who got a little carried away with it, or is it something that you can turn it on and off? What was your state of mind doing this movie?
I think my state of mind wasn't very good. Yeah, I got into a dark place. Yeah, I don't want to go back to that. But I studied every possible serial killer, read Manson's autobiography, I read everything, watched it, and I was just like, I just was absorbing this. I don't know. I don't like that mentality. Did you like being in that?
No, it was sort of our experience on this. If anybody believes in Mercury being in retrograde, it sort of was that kind of set. But it was, for me, I was all of 20 going through a nihilistic rite of passage, and so it was the perfect film to have a kind of exorcism. But what I really enjoyed, for me, I just wanted to say that I honor this experience so much. I grew so much as a creative person because of the freedom Oliver gave on a set, and because of the encouragement. It was sort of an anything goes, because it's a psychedelic film. So you'd be in the car, and we'd be in the car and be like, oh yeah, some demons are gonna run by you. Just, we didn't have that plan, so you just sort of fly by the seat of your pants and just commit 110, and it just shaped me up. I also remember the fight sequence in the beginning. You very much wanted this, I wanted this, but because as a female, there was a lot of firsts in this movie. One was, I hadn't seen this kind of female fight sequence where we worked on jab, 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 uppercut, roundhouse, rather than just one little punch and then she knocks the guy out. We sort of had these.
Oh, it's a great fight sequence. What's his name? That fighter who never lost. That guy who's a kickboxer. Benny the Jet.
Benny the Jet.
Choreographed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, some things got cut. Unfortunately, they won't let us show the unrated tonight. I prefer that film because it's got the rhythm I wanted. The prison's much more violent, more extreme. But Warner Brothers is still fucking scared of the movie. This is 1994. This is 25 years later. They're so scared of it. They opened Joker this weekend, and here they're saying, well, you can't show the unrated. Now they're selling it on video. You can buy it on video. It makes no sense. But they're worried that there might be a riot in this theater because of tonight. And that's how corporate it gets. And they're being bought out by AT&T, so they're scared shitless that AT&T is going to freak out if you guys riot. So what I'm saying is riot.
Do we watch the movie?
You want to watch the movie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Let's watch Natural Born Killers.